All right, it's time to talk about all the fun and exciting things going down this week in Reddit, and I want to start off with the St. Jude charity run that we did. There was no running involved. We didn't move quicker than a brisk walk to the beer fridge.
I ran to the bathroom.
That was about it. But we got involved, and if you remember, if you don't remember the history and weren't tuning in then, Matt Patricia got involved at the combine, put a very sizable check together, and it was just really inspirational. We said, you know what, we're going to do something from the fan side, and we challenged our folks and friends that listen to the show to help donate. We put in some money of our own. On it being almost close to $1,000 by the time like the software to run the auction, everything is all said and done. It wasn't cheap on our side, but we did some really, really good stuff, folks. The transparency report was out for March, and we raised $3,548.69, like only our show would do. Right? And then April's, we just got it tallied. I waited on April because the auction items were part of April's money, and I wanted to make sure that everything got sent out to everybody. There was no returns, all that, and everything was in place. So everything's taken care of. Auction stuff sent out. As a matter of fact, Sandman literally just sent me his Super Bowl game used football and the certificate of authenticity. The whole thing looks freaking amazing. A lot of great stuff. I Prevail, great guitar, great stuff. Brian B, thank you so much for helping us out.
That's cool. That's very cool.
April, we came out at $4,092, and guess it, Case.
69 cents.
Did it again. 2 months in a row.
Gronk, baby.
My brother, we said it early in the month, he did a donation with, whatever the amount was and 1 cent. Just, he said, now you guys have to figure out the math to come up with the right number. And somebody did. It's in the transparency report again. You can see all the numbers. It's all there. I can't believe we did it. So that means our total didn't end that way. We wound up with $7,641.38 for St. Jude. Thank you, everybody, so much. This is probably one of the best charities in the world. People that need it more than any of us do, likely. Really, really great. Thank you all for taking part in it. Really, really cool stuff. I'm just blown away by people's generosity and everything we did. I will tell you, we're already working on next year. I'm getting myself out of the middleman role. We kind of threw this together at the last minute.
Yeah,
we've got some help from St. Jude themselves. Eisen, we've got some stuff going on with him. We've got some stuff with Blandino. I'm telling you, we have. I know for sure one thing we've locked in is the most killer prize ever. I don't know that we'll ever in the history of this show be able to replicate how cool this prize is that we're getting. Don't want to give it away now. We'll talk about it as next year comes out. But it is when he told me about it, I was just like, no freaking way. Really awesome stuff. So next year we're going to kick it off. It's going to be streamlined. It's going to be straight through to St. Jude. We'll still be able to have credit and count the money and everything else and be able to see what we do. And we'll be getting a lot more visibility on it. So everybody who took part this year, I want to again say thank you so much for what you've done and for making this a reality. You've really kicked this off and given us something to really challenge ourselves to hit next year. So thank you, everybody. And you're the best. You're absolutely fabulous, folks. All right, let's get into the big story right now. Originally dropped by Mike O'Hara, my favorite guy from the Anchor Bar. I got to take you there when you're in town, Case. The Anchor Bar is like historic.
Yeah,
it's a newspaper bar.
I'm there for the experience. I'm a tourist. I will, but I'm a tourist who likes the authenticity. I don't need to see I know the big fist is a thing, but I can see it on the internet. I don't necessarily see that. The Anchor Bar, that all. You
can check that out. Yeah, that's a good one. Again, if you guys don't know, there's it's one of the it's the original newspaper bar in Detroit, and there's a lot of history there. I'd suggest looking it up on the old Google. Tim Piska does a great podcast about Detroit, little short, 20-minute segments, and the Anchor Bar is one of them that he covers. Great history there. And that's Mike O'Hara spent plenty of time there when he was with the News. He's now with the Detroit Lions. He does another podcast for WJR. And on his podcast, they discussed, just kind of rolled through it. All of a sudden, Matthew Stafford played with some broken bones in his back. That seems a little off-putting. That seems like something maybe. Hey, go ahead and take a day, Matthew. Go ahead and get some rest. Case, what the hell just happened?
Well, first of all, as we were discussing before the show, like, to me, when he says that isn't necessarily an official announcement from the team. But as you said, Mike O'Hara works for the team, so it almost is as good as a official announcement from the team that there was that there was a broken bone in his back. Now, that sounds horrible, but I wish I could remember who it was. There was another prominent quarterback sometime in the last few years who played through a quote-unquote broken back.
There's a couple. You had Kitna, Romo, and Carr. And
Romo. Thank you.
That Carson Palmer did too.
Thank you.
That's what I did.
Point being that a broken back is not a black and white situation. It is a case where it might have just been a minor chip on a bone. It could have been a fracture that was not considered, serious in a sense of like it could be worsened by continuing play. So the idea being
might be a way to worsen something like that.
Right. Obviously. So there are some Lions fans out there now that they've heard this who are immediately saying, well, why the fuck was he playing in the first place if he had a broken back? But a broken back isn't a broken back.
Well,
I don't know how to put that better.
God damn it, Webster,
there's a lot of gray area. There is a lot of gray area that goes into what that injury may have meant or been, or what the potential for worsening was. And it doesn't surprise me to hear, because we've been hearing rumors. They were kind of like fluttering around the outside of our awareness since it happened, that something wasn't right with Stafford, that he had some kind of injury that was affecting his play. And I'm willing to buy that. I'm willing to buy that, because we saw him do some things this last year that weren't necessarily Stafford-esque. I also think it points to a case of, hopefully he's over it this year. Hopefully it is healed this year. Hopefully he is back to 100% this year. It would be hypocritical of me, as someone who has said, Aaron Rodgers' injuries are adding up, and that may be his ultimate downfall, to not take a look at this and say, well, maybe Matthew Stafford's injuries are adding up, even despite the fact that he has played every game since the end of his sophomore season. Mm-hmm. It would be hypocritical of me to not say that, not recognize that perhaps the injuries will add up and cause some problems down the road. But you can also certainly take the tack that if his performance specifically this last year was affected by this injury, that you could expect, among other reasons, for him to rebound.
So a couple of things. First off, we do have a board-certified medical opinion. It's just come through. We got the audio on that, and we'll get that here for you. Here's the response from the team doctor.
Dr. Riz right here for you. I got your back, folks.
He's got your back, folks. Yeah.
Wait, whose back? Does he have Matthew Stafford's back?
That's right. That's what he's got.
Literally, like on the table? I don't know.
Dr. Riz is here. I feel good. I feel good with Dr. Riz in town. So let's talk a little about it. There's other guys that have played with what we see here. We talked about this very, very early in the offseason, case, if you remember. Kelly Stafford had done an Instagram post.
I do remember.
And he was walking pretty gingerly. right? And I remember pointing it out very, very clearly. This makes absolute sense. If you've ever had back pain, unfortunately,
I don't know what that's like, Chris. Explain.
It hurts like hell, and it's one of those things where, gosh, you never know how much you need your back until it hurts, right? You know, like when you hurt your thumb, you cut your thumb, and I use my thumb for everything. Well, evidently, you use your back for everything too, because you can't walk, you can't stand, you can't sit, you can't lay. It really, really is ass feeling. Interesting stuff. So watching him gingerly walk was kind of a little bit of an insight, actually, just seeing that. And hate to play doctor on the doctor, but I do it on the podcast sometimes, right? So yeah, that's rough to see. So we were right. There was something that was going on.
Right.
It's carried through. It's also supposedly something that won't carry on. As you said, injuries, do they mount up or not? I don't know. The question is did they know it during the season? And if so, was he allowed to play? You got a season that it's when they traded Tate away, you kind of feel like they knew the season wasn't going to be, I'll say, salvageable, for lack of a better term, okay? At that point, why don't you just sit the poor guy, right? But maybe it happened later. Maybe it happened later in the season. You don't know. And let's face it, there's nothing behind him. And if he doesn't play, you put a lot of other people in danger, like Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia, all that kind of stuff, especially after that Tate move. That Tate move may have been the thing where they put the china on the table and hoped it didn't break.
Here's my opinion on that thought is that everything that I have seen from Matthew Stafford in his career says that he does not want to come off the field.
Yeah.
So if he says, I am playing today, you better be a pretty ballsy coach if you're going to, say, no, you're not going to play today. And I'm not saying that would be a bad thing necessarily, but like for rookie head coach, trying to tell a guy who's been around for 10 years that he's not going to play today, that is going to be a tough sell for both the quarterback and the locker room, and that is going to cause major controversy.
Or it's like a parent with a child saying, well, sometimes you need consequences to learn your lesson. You wanted Jim Bob, you live with what Jim Bob gives you. Sorry, you broke your back. Keep playing. End of story.
Yeah.
And then when we go with Bevel next year, you'll be more on board. No, obviously that's silly, but very, very interesting, very, very disturbing that that Matthew had that. One thing about him, and I'll go back to this, and it's something we haven't done. We've done a little bit, but not as well as maybe we could have historically. The separation of the player from the personal side, right? There was some guys who've been really, really good about that. Stafford, I got to tell you, this guy, and I've said the whole thing about how he's lived the dream, every young boy's dream to grow up to be, all the great things. Tom Brady is like the ultimate dream, but goddamn, Matthew Stafford has really, really not. Maybe he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he is genuinely a good man by all reports that we see. And even with everything that he's gone through with Kelly, and I say he's gone through because, again, he's not the person who's sick or had the surgery, but he's going through some very serious, difficult psychological times associated with this whole thing too. And how you act as a man in situations like that is often underreported and not cared about. But it's a pretty difficult situation. It's hard to be the right kind of man in that situation. It really is. So some guys are wired and they just, that's it, and they won't change. Some guys are wired, they're gone. You know what I mean? But I feel like for most people, there's a lot of work associated with that some people just aren't committed to. And the way he's embraced his role as a dad, as a husband, and with the team, everything, he has embraced all of these things with a team he knows really is going to lose so many years prior. He's embraced that role and stood up like a man and did his freaking damnedest to be successful and bring home as much and the best that he could and make the very, very best of the situation. Matthew Stafford is absolutely, people talk about how, I wish Calvin wasn't mad and all that. If it was Matthew Stafford, I would find a way to write $1 million check for him personally to make it okay for him to come back, because holy crap, This is a guy who isn't from Detroit, has embraced everything about Detroit and given everything he can. Wow. Okay, so I'll get off my Stafford love banger here, but I couldn't help it. I mean, this guy. If you don't think after the Bengals thing was, or the Browns game way back, right? So indicative of what he is and who he is, and if you didn't get it, then
fuck off me.
Yeah, if you didn't get it then, you better get it by now. What a guy! And all the other stuff about whether he should have played or not, decision making. That's something we can analyze over time. I'm sure more information will come out, but let's give this guy credit for playing through it and giving his all. You can never question his commitment at this point. I just think he may give up at some point in the future, but he's earned it. He's completely earned it at this point to me.
I agree on all that.
Woo! All right. Let's talk about something else. Case has already started. I'm a little tired. So there's a lot of funny outtakes already from this show. I'm just going to tell you guys. Here we are.
We've been starting to stop it a little bit more than usual, but
yeah.
We'll get there. Chris.
You think we'd figured it out by now?
We'll get there.
Okay. Keep your peach man to yourself. After all this time, you think we'd figured it out, but after all this time, Case and I are actually going to finally, for the first time, meet in person.
Oh yeah.
Think about that, right?
I'm going to run away. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'll catch you. It's like the Odd Couple in person, but training camp party. This is a big thing.
Yeah,
we talked about
absolutely
it for a couple of months now.
I booked my tickets literally right before we started recording the show. So
absolutely. There's some big changes here. We need to make sure that we talk about this a bit, so everybody who's thought about it or wants to come knows about the changes, embraces them, and doesn't make any rash decisions or mistakes along the way. Okay, so first off,
just for the record, I really like tequila.
You're gonna regret that. You haven't done one of these before, have you? So we're gonna.
I had to say it though.
Okay, let's. We gotta be real clear so everyone hears. First off, we talked about August 3rd as the date that we're going to do the party, and unfortunately, the Lions scrambled our eggs on this one. They turned around training camp. They had neither Friday nor Saturday practices that weekend, and it was likely so that they could finagle the joint practice with the Patriots. So I think they had the way that you have to do a day off and 2 days off, all that kind of stuff. I think the way that fell and the way that worked out, that fans kind of got hosed on the weekend days. But it's okay. We don't mess around. We're not screwing around. So everything has moved from August 3rd to August 2nd. Same place, the Uptown Grill. The guys at the Uptown Grill in Commerce are awesome. They've actually even upgraded our room, so we have a better place to do it. Yeah. So we've got a great room. We've got the Uptown Grill again, but it's on Friday night. Now, here's the thing about it that makes it so great. There's not training camp that day, so nobody will be retaining sunburn from that day itself. They'll be able to, if they have to work, they can do the work. You can come after. There's no work on Saturday, and you have a day off. There's no media that has to work on Saturday, and then it's season ticket holders only on Sunday. So it's a great opportunity to come out. All kinds of different media folks come out, and they will be there again, I promise you. Have a good time. It is extremely limited. There's probably not going to be tickets available at the door. I'm telling you right now. August 2nd, that's where it's at, Uptown Grill.
I'll be scalping, but
Dean Blandino is coming to join us live there. He will take part in the show that we do. We're going to do a live show. Tons of giveaways. We're working with buddies. We got a couple other ones set up right now. Going to have great giveaways like we did last year, Fanatics, all that kind of stuff. We'll give away some T-shirts. They're all door prizes. So you just get a ticket, you automatically get entered in for the prize. There'll be opportunities to get other entries and that kind of thing like we did last year. But Dean Blandino is going to be there, and right now it looks like we're waiting for final confirmation. He's kind of inkled that he's going to come, but he hasn't locked in. Dan Miller also going to join us at the party. I mean, and so
I would love to meet Dan Miller. I hope he comes.
Yeah, one of the things we want to do is an interactive session with Dan and Dean, where we can ask questions of Dean. Think of them now, but please be respectful. Right? So we'll put that together.
It's one of those like I've been to some like conventions, cons, like nerd things. If y'all can't be, normal people with them, we're gonna have a problem. But
yeah, right. You're gonna find when you meet Dean, he is absolutely lovable. He is, and I don't mean like prison rape lovable. I mean Dean Valentino is an absolutely awesome dude. We got a premiere of something we put together. We're gonna have a preview, a trailer, as it will, a teaser trailer coming out here in the next week of something you're not going to want to miss. We have a huge announcement coming out. Riz and I are putting together an announcement there. And then, God, what else was there? There's so much. All the giveaways, all that kind of stuff. What was it, Case? There was all kinds of other stuff.
Boy, I don't know, Chris. You're going to have to tell me.
Yeah, that's how it always works. Okay. So we're going to have the big party, all that stuff. Oh, tickets. That's what I want to talk about, tickets. So
there you go.
We talked about it again a little bit last week. We had to put the price up $5 extra this week. Dinner's included, all the soft drinks you can drink. There's salad, pizza, all kinds of food. It's all good. It's just shovel it in. Brandstatter ate a whole pizza himself last time. He's a big guy, right? I mean, what the but yeah, no, it was the food was great. It's absolutely exceptional. That's all included. Soft drinks are included. Drinky drinks, those are on you. But the whole thing, we got a better seating area, like I said this time. Tickets are a little more because we lost our ass last time. It's $30 for a ticket per person this time, but you're not gonna, with all the door prizes and stuff, you're highly likely to earn that money back. And who wouldn't want to see these guys in person? So there it is, the party. It's August 2nd, Uptown Grill, and we have limited numbers. Tickets go on sale Wednesday. So today is the Tuesday, the 18th. They're gonna go on sale Wednesday for Patreon people. So you get a 3-day run, Patreon folks. You get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday they go on sale. Saturday they go on sale to the general public, and everybody gets a shot at them. But with the stuff we've got going on here, you will not be able to buy these tickets at the door. So get them now, get them early. And I'm sorry, the room is only so big. We can only let so many people in. When they sell out, they sell out. That's the story. So
it'll be butt to butt,
peach to peach, baby. Get into it now. It's going to be a great time, like it always is now. So that's the party. Okay, that's that part. The other thing we need to talk about, which hasn't gone away but has just shuffled a little because of these crazy scheduling things they've done. August 1st, Zack Zenner Day.
Oh shit! Yeah, I got my T-shirt.
Yeah. Get that.
I got to iron it.
Yes, you
it's
will.
all wrinkly right now.
It's because you cuddle up with it too much. But,
right.
And you probably got to wash it too. Because anyway, so August 1st, Zack Zenner Day. What are we talking about? The key part of Zack Zenner Day is to wear the I Love Zack Zenner shirt. The Zack Zenner shirt. We want to get as many of those out there as we can. This is a little bit of a psychological thing. Think about it. They walk around and they do the autographs at the end of the day. You're standing there, you're having fun. Hey, that's great. If you're Matthew Stafford, you come over to sign autographs and everyone's wearing a Zack Zenner shirt. What's he thinking? He's used to seeing a bunch of 9 jerseys. He's not. What? Right. This will be a lot of fun. Get your Zack Zenner shirt. It's over at DetroitLionsPodcast.com/store. Get it for that day. And what we want to do is we'll do like a lunch after training camp that day on the 1st. We'll get everyone. Got to have your Zenner shirt to hang out.
I will be supremely disappointed if I can't get it signed by Zack Zenner.
Yeah. Oh, I would be too.
To sign it, I love you too, Kate. That would be perfect.
You just keep rubbing that in. So get your shirt. Everyone with a shirt will be able to go, and we'll meet up for a place just for lunch. We'll hang out. Your lunch is on you. Your drinks are on you. But just a great time to hang out. It'll be Case. It'll be Sandman. It'll be me, and we'll just spend some time together and have a good time, just talking, shooting the shit, talking Lions after training camp on August 1st, known as Zack Zenner Day. So get in again. DetroitLionsPodcast.com/store. Get your shirt, and you can come out and join us, and that'll be fun stuff. Whole plethora, great stuff. Anything else, Case, associated with the tickets? The thing, you're going to be there. I'm going to be there.
No. Just so you're aware, I'm probably going to give you a big ass hug when I actually meet you. So,
but what about the rest of
it? I'm just warning you. Okay,
no, I'm okay with it. That's okay.
All right. No, that's all I gotta say.
Okay, I'll squeeze the sap out of you. All right, we'll move on. Got to hit this really quick. We talked about Fanatics, big donors. They came through huge last year. I think last year they gave us like $300 or $400 worth of gift cards to give away at the training camp party. They're hooking up with us again this year. Please, if you're going to get anything from the Lions, go to fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. It'll take you straight to their site. You won't even realize that you went kind of through our site on the way there. It just gives them a special little cookie, a little notification that we sent you, and it helps them understand how much we support them so that they can help support us back and help push their brand. Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. Get all your Lions gear. Get your Red Wings gear, your Tigers gear, your Michigan State gear, your Florida Gators. I'm looking at you, Carter. All your stuff that you want to get. Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. That's radio for one for a minute. All right. Case, this is something you do every year, and
yeah.
Started. Where did this start? Let's just start with that. I'll put you on interview mode here. Where did you start?
It actually started. I think it started because my ex-wife's family did a yearly draft where everybody would pick. We'd have 8 people, and everybody would pick 4 teams, and so everybody would get 4 teams, but you draft them like you would draft like a fantasy draft. And whoever came out at the end of the year having the most wins, would win whatever pot we put in. Might have been $20 we all put in. I don't remember. It wasn't like some outrageous number, but I think that may have been the catalyst for me starting my power rankings. But I've been doing them now for I want to say about 10 years. And after I started it, I started putting them on Reddit, back on the Lions subreddit way back when I was a Reddit newbie yet.
Last week?
Like 10 years ago.
Oh God, here we go.
So, I mean, I've been at it forever and ever and ever. And the truth of the matter is, like, if you take anything that anybody says on any power ranking personally, you're doing it wrong. It's it's pure entertainment. It's pure speculation. Everybody's going to be severely wrong about at least a few things. The goal, it's kind of like draft predictions. The goal isn't right to be right about everything. The goal is to be as close to possible on as many things as possible. And that's how you when you look back at the end of the year on how you power ranked, in the preseason, you look, okay, now I can see why I was wrong about this, that, and the other thing. For example, one of the things that I think I was probably the thing that I've been most wrong about ever was thinking the Giants.
Don't go too big here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought the Giants a couple of years ago were going to be, one of the top teams in the league, and then they had the worst offensive line in the league, and
Didn't we
it
beat
just
them in like Game 3 that year. Wasn't that the year that you were super high?
I would say that is likely. Yeah. I would say that is likely that year.
I remember that. God, you were off.
But it was just like, to me, going in, it seemed like they had all the skill position players. They had great defensive players, including Damon Harrison. They had a ton of guys that I thought were about to explode, but their offensive line was so bad, so incredibly bad, that it just wrecked everything. It wrecked everything. I think I even took Eli Manning in fantasy that year. Not early, but as my second quarterback in the, in like the 10th or 11th round or something like that. Boy, was I wrong. So, I mean, no matter how many times I've done this, no matter how well I think I have a grasp on anything, how much I like to say that I have a better than average, grasp on these things, I will be wrong about some of these things. I will be wrong. about some of these things. I'm still going to do it though, because it's cathartic for me and it's entertainment. That is the whole purpose of what we do. What is there? We even have a clip of me saying, fuck you if you.
No, we don't.
Go fuck yourself, because it's just entertainment. That's the one. That's me talking about power rankings. Okay, so I'm gonna read down the list.
I got to get to the other one really quick before you get to your list. There's one other thing we got to talk about.
I'm just thinking of Dallas to get Zack Zenner to do one of those like naked sushi things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're talking power rankings.
Well, you're trying to sell tickets to our show. Well,
this is actually so. I'm going to tell you right now. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the show unedited up next week while we're out for the Patreon people. And when you hear me say power rankings, but you say it wrong, you're going to die, because we did. So Patreon people, just so you know, there you go. If you're interested in hearing all the bloopers, that's the way to do it. Just join Patreon.
It rhymed with power rankings.
Yeah. You can see the unedited behind the scenes silliness. We'll put it up. It's like we'll do it as a video or something for everybody to take a look at. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So I'm trying to let people into the mindset of the process. And the process starts with just literally off the top of my head, pulling out a list of all 32 teams. And I'm going to read to you the list of all 32 teams I have in the order that I have them.
Oh, right.
And I'm going to tell you that, boy, there are going to be some massive changes between where I've got teams, because not everyone here is anywhere near where I think they should be. Even giving it like a half second look, like no one here is where they probably should be. But in my head, this is where it starts. And in a few weeks, in a month or so, this will translate into like an actual list, and it will translate into an article that our editors will be very upset that they have to edit. But
are you going to update this throughout the season? This is something I'd like to. I'd like to see you on a less level of effort.
Well, if you want me to update it during the season, I mean, I do the RNFL. I'm the Lions ranker for the RNFL power rankings.
Yeah.
So if you want us to do that, we can do that.
That would be great. I'd love to maybe just hit the highlights of it, and then what's happened to the Lions in the power rankings. And maybe that's something we could do throughout this season. And
we can work on that.
Site and stuff. All right, awesome. See, Case, this is where we do our brainstorming, right here live. If you guys haven't noticed, it's a little looser now that nothing's going on in the NFL.
Okay, so here I am reading off the list of teams that I have. Patriots, Saints, Eagles, Rams, Colts, Chiefs, Chargers, Steelers, Vikings, Packers, Bears, Falcons, Seahawks, Cowboys, Texans, Jags, Ravens, 49ers, Lions, Bucks, Bengals, Raiders, Panthers, Broncos, Titans, Browns, Dolphins, Bills, Jets, Cards, Redskins, Giants. So there's a couple of major anomalies in there. There are 3 NFC North teams, all 3 in a row: Vikings, Packers, Bears, and they are all in the top 16. I don't necessarily see dropping any of them completely out of the top 16. I would be amazed if they all 3 stay where they are. It's hard for me to figure out what I'm going to do with the Patriots, because I have tried in the past to move them out of the number 1 spot, and that clearly hasn't worked for me.
Just put them number 1 and leave them there until about week 15, and then see where they're. Just go look at them at that point and see where they're at.
There's a few confusing teams in here. The Jags, the Raiders are probably the team, the number 1 team, and I have them just above the bottom 10. But to me, they are the biggest question mark in the league. I have the Lions at about, I think they're number 19 on my list right now. Okay. That could fluctuate a little bit.
No, I think that feels good based on last year and the draft, because I think they're a better team than 19, but they have to prove it, right?
Right. No, I agree with that entirely. That's exactly it. They have to prove it.
They had a good draft. They had,
they had one of the better off seasons in the NFL, in my opinion. But
sure, and
that doesn't mean shit unless you actually capitalize on it.
Right, that's right. So let's see them deliver. So that's one that has a lot of possibility to. It would be sad if they finish the season at 19 or lower. Actually, my expectations is we have in this year 2, that we have a top 12 kind of a team somewhere in there. I would consider that a pretty successful season. And then next year, absolutely, I'd want to see top 5, top 6 for this team. And I would say that's a good progression for management from the GM level and coaching and so on.
So anyway, I just wanted to I've been doing that for so long that I figured maybe to let people in on the process, and that is literally the list that I wrote off the top of my head today, earlier today. And that does not mean that is where those teams will end up. It just means as I'm remembering the things that I remember, that's I haven't done any research yet. It was just what's relevant in my mind at the moment, and that's what I came up with. So once I had a chance to do some research, I'll look into who got what, who gave up what, who had good things happen to them, who had bad things happen to them, whose draft picks do I like to have an immediate impact, those kind of things that will dramatically shift the list. But I don't know. I don't know if that's interesting to anyone or not, but I figured I would.
It's probably one of the more interesting things that are going to happen in this offseason. At least I hope it is for this damn team.
Well, that's also,
Remember Nick Fairley?
We're struggling for content, so
I was talking to Brandon about this. And that's it, guys. If we're struggling for content, we're not gonna put content on the show. That's why it's vacation season and all that kind of stuff. So we're not gonna just fill with
taking the 24th off.
Yeah. Next week is out, other than the blooper show for the Patreon people now. But I completely forgot what I was going to say. So perfect. Oh no, the rankings. This is good stuff. It's a good way to analyze the team. It's a good way to take a look at what's going on, and we'll come up with some thinking on that. There'll be other power rankings. Again, it's not cut and dry, but it's a good workup of where this team stands at this point. I think we're going to put together a couple other things here as well. Not necessarily for the podcast, but for the site. We'll have a training camp guide, what to do when you go to Allen Park, where to park, all that kind of stuff. We'll put some of that stuff together. This is a good time to get that kind of other stuff together for you. I have to say, huge thank you to Sandman. I was, for those that are watching the video, you could see I was bouncing on the phone. He got me club level stuff for the Patriots practice and the season ticket ticket holder practice on Sunday the 4th. So thank you, man. I can't say enough good things about Sandman and what an awesome human being he is. He's awesome. So, all right, let's see. Got that anniversary. We talked a little about that case. Let's ping that really quick. Officially, it's the 24th is the anniversary. We've done a full 4 years now of podcasting. Case and I, the odd couple, working at it. We're going into year 5. We've got fruit this year, and I think every show kind of exhibits the fruit basket that we are. So I think we're good there. Last year was a spanking good time.
No pants on.
Spanking good time with the leather, and we'll keep looking up every year to see what the traditional gifts are. So good job, Case. I appreciate everything you've done, man. It's been an awesome ride.
Thanks, Chris.
I've really enjoyed doing this. What started out as a bit of a lark, right? I mean, not a lark. But we were like, I was where I was mentally. I was sitting here thinking, I've been part of this Reddit community for so long. I'm out solo in SoCal. I want to give back to the community that's actually given me kind of a home to talk Lions in a way that was intelligent. Because there's so many places out there that were so unintelligent. When we started, there was less than 10,000 subscribers in this subreddit, and it's over 50,000 now. Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
It's everything has changed so much. literally today went back and listened to episodes 2, 3, and 4. Episode 2 was the first episode I was on. Episode 1, you had Xylon on, and I love Xylon. I miss Xylon. I don't get to talk to him very much anymore, but he's one of the most impressive football minds that I've ever spoken to. So I still, when I have questions about this, that, or the other thing, I still often send him a message and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" and take his input into account.
Really? What is fuck you? I blocked you. How do you take that into account?
No, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. I know he got busy with life, and you know, over the years I've gotten busy with life in one way or another too. So I understand. But I came on the show, episode number 2, and you had me tell my story of fandom. I went back and listened to it, like I said, literally today, before we recorded, and I cringe so bad listening to. I just wasn't comfortable with the microphone yet. You know what I mean? Like I just wasn't. I wasn't. And I mean that in the microphone, like literally, but also the microphone in a metaphorical sense. I just wasn't comfortable talking and being recorded yet. That took a little while. But if you have the impetus and you're like, I did it on Spotify. I don't know where if we have all the episodes on everything. Yep. But I went back to episode 2, and if you have any interest in it, it is my love letter to Golden Tate.
It truly is too. That's so funny. I mean,
I remember prepping. I forget. But after listening to it today, I remember that I prepped for quite a while about all the things that I loved about Golden Tate, and I wanted to bring that to that episode, and I did. I still to this day consider Golden Tate to be one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. But I talked about I did everything from his time in Seattle to extrapolating what his stats might have been if he had been the starter instead of Calvin the whole season when Calvin got hurt. All that stuff.
Yeah. No, it was good times. That was back in the days when we were looking. I knew we wanted to do a podcast, and it was like, look, I can do this stuff, but I need somebody else. I need somebody else to bounce off. We need somebody to create that chemistry with. And Zaya was really clear. None of the mods on the subreddit have any time, so fuck straight off. That's basically what he said. I was like, that's cool. I've been told worse by better. And I said, let's just at least interview the mods, and we'll get this thing started, and we'll take people in, and we'll see what we can find out. And it was funny when Case came on that episode. There was something we could feel it, and it really worked out and continued to work out. And Case, I mean, we've just got a great relationship. He knows, he heard me make fun of him last week. He's like,
I listened to the episode. I still didn't actually hear where you guys made fun of me, but
he didn't get it.
apparently it was a deep burn, and I just totally missed it. Oh well. I feel it.
Miss anything. All right, so let's take a look. That was great. Happy anniversary, Case. You always look
likewise.
Your anniversary.
Likewise.
And, we'll move on. Training camp days, because people are thinking about going to training camp. Like I said, we're going to have a training camp kind of primer. I think they call it a primer. I used to call it a primer, but people I've heard starting to say primer nowadays. So I got to get the pinky up and say
model loop.
So things kick off on the 25th of July, but it doesn't matter if you don't have season tickets, or evidently if you don't know Sandman, because you can. And then 26th to the public. Every time the gates are opening at 8:30 in the morning, and practice begins at 9:30. Get there early. More and more people have come every year. There's been more and more seating every year as well, but there's going to be a point, I think, somewhere where people are starting to really get turned away. So get there early. You wind up parking over at Fairlane. They have shuttle buses. The buses are awesome. It's a great way. Everyone's in a great mood. It's awesome to go to training camp. They shuttle you over to the Allen Park facility. They drop you off, and then you wait in line because you got there early like a smart person. So there you are. Wait. It can be pretty hot in the morning. Bring your sunscreen. Don't forget about that. They ran out of water one time last year. I'd say bring a couple extra waters in your pocket, maybe a water per pocket, just so you have it, just in case. Running out of water was a bad thing on that day because it was super, super hot. They wound up telling people, well, you can get water. You know how they have the trailers with the Johns in them, the Porta trailer Johns? They said, you can get water out of the sinks in there. I'm just like, no. Cholera is not in style this year.
I'll dehydrate.
Cholera is so in 2014. I'm sorry.
I'll die. That's okay.
So I would just suggest bring an extra water or two just to make sure you're covered, especially if you have kids for those hot days. Rain will delay. They make announcements late the nights before, so that's important. But so you got 25, 26, 27, 28, and then a day off on Monday the 29th. And then Tuesday the 30th, Wednesday 31st, Thursday the 1st. You got those 3 in a row. I will be there 30, 31, and 1. Case is arriving the night of the 30th. We'll be there on the 31st. And the 1st. First time in Detroit.
First time in Michigan.
Yeah, first time in Michigan. First time in Allen Park, the whole thing. So he will be at training camp the 31st and the 1st. What time do you arrive on the 30th, Case? Do you remember?
It was like 11:40 or something.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was it. So on the 30th, I was going to go head down to the airport and pick his funny face up.
Mm-hmm.
Get that big hug he promised me. And then we're going to go grab lunch. So maybe we can work something out with folks who, if you want to get together, we'll go grab lunch or whatever. And then we're going to bounce around and get some stuff done. And then Wednesday, Thursdays, training camps, we'll do those. Then Friday, of course. There's no training camp, but it's a massive training camp party that you do not want to miss. Everybody then gets Saturday off again. And then Sunday, the 4th, exclusive to season ticket members. And then Monday, the 5th, also exclusive to season ticket members. That's with the Patriots. It's a joint session. And the 4th and 5th, again, I have to. If anyone takes care of me, I gotta give him much love. Sandman, thank you so much. He took care of me for those 2 days, and I'll be able to see the Patriots in the Sunday deal. Tuesday, joint for everybody with the Patriots, and Wednesday the 7th with the Patriots again, a joint practice. Again, everything's 8:30 in the morning. Practice begins at 9:30. Get there early. Park at Fairlane. You can go to DetroitLions.com/training camp to get all kinds of great information. Remember, you're not allowed to stream or record video during practice. Look, people grab their phones and do that, and I get that. But it's one of their things, so go ahead and just kind of respect it. Be respectful of what you get. Autographs not guaranteed, but it's very, very common for players and coaches to meet fans after the practice sessions, and there are some great opportunities. You mill around the outside fence after practice is over. There's people there with pens. Players come around. I got a lot of really, really great Detroit Lions podcast stickers signed last year by some players. Eventual giveaways. Deshaun Hand was one of them that may be quite valuable to give away one year here soon, and some other ones. So there's some of the short info on that. Training camp is coming up here. Again, it all kicks off on the 25th on a season ticket members exclusive, and then goes on from there. Cannot wait. Going to be great to have you in town, Case. We're going to show you the dark side of Detroit.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
All right. Really quick, we got to hit one more thing. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Same thing. Support the show. It's a great way to do that. If you're going to go to Amazon, just use that. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Use that and head on over and do all your shopping. They'll say, these guys are so cool. We want to give them a kickback. As a matter of fact, we're not going to charge these guys anymore. And if a lot of people do this, we might charge them all a little less. It's a great way to go, and it helps out the show. And you're doing something you're going to do anyway, and it doesn't do anything except type things a little different at the beginning. Thank you all for doing that, and along the way, please do that as you continue to get your 4th of July goods, your training camp stuff, your tailgate stuff, and all that. So awesome stuff. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. All right, one last piece. We got to talk about this one, Case. No show.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You got something going on next week?
No, I'm
working.
Taking a nap this time next week.
I will be back in Detroit. I have a little bit more video to shoot, a couple other things to do for what's coming out at the premiere at the training camp party. And we're not going to have a show, but we will have Ash Thompson. You guys know and love Ash. She's putting together a video for us for YouTube. Case may put together a video depending on how things go for him, and I may put together a video or two also. So that's over at the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Good way to kind of get some feed, some extra content or whatever that we're putting together, and we're going to roll out next week as we do the things that we do around town. And then also for the Patreon people, if you want. This show is full of bloopers. It's a pretty fun one. We'll have the video available for the Patreon people. So if you want to get access to that and check out the silliness and probably stupidity could be rolled in with that as well, head on over and get to Patreon and join up as a donor.